very good morning and welcome to Smart Men's Business. I'm Anju Barije. Today is the 19th of October and it's exactly 4 minutes past the hour of 7 a.m. And I also officially welcome you to the segment of the SMB News Recap as we go through the day's previous news stories that are making headlines in the world of business. Quite a lot is happening in this country and the world at large, and majority happening is also that is happening locally is being influenced by what's happening that's on the global scale. So as an entrepreneur right there, it's very important to position yourself, get some information regarding what's going around. This will help you to make sure that you make the best informed decisions. And of course on Smart 24 TV, we bring you that information and you will be updated regarding what's making headlines in the world of business for you to make the best decisions in that perspective. And of course, don't forget to check us out on DSTV channel 372 and GoTV channel 394 and on our social media handles. That's at Smart 24 TV Twitter, Smart 24 TV Facebook, and Smart 24 TV Live on YouTube. And you will be in position to get this information at whatever part of the globe you will be at, right straight to your sitting room. Now heading straight to the news recap, I will start with the Trillion Regional Export Facility, as the Uganda Bankers Association established a regional export facility worth $1 trillion that's dollars that targets regional market trading with an interest rate that's at 12%. Let's have the details of the story. I'll be returning with more highlights.
We'll have you sign.
The manufacturing sector, which employs more than 1.3 million people and has seen the number of industrial establishments rise from 80 in 1986 to 4,940 in 2019, accounts for 18.6% of the GDP, 19% of all exports, and 14% of tax income. In spite of the fact that, according to data from the Bank of Uganda, lending to the manufacturing sector has increased significantly over the past 15 years from 364 billion to 2.4 trillion Ugandan shillings. Funding for the industry is still insufficient. To support local firms in expanding their access to regional markets, the Uganda Bankers Association has developed a $1 trillion regional export facility. Speaking with Will Brodowall, the executive director for the Uganda Bankers Association, he disclosed that the association is collaborating with other businesses to make sure they capitalize on the African market. The facility will start operating on November 1st, 2022, with an interest rate of 12%.
Launched an initial portion of the regional export facility of 1 trillion shillings to support our various exporters that will be targeting the regional market, including Congo, DRC Congo, Southern Sudan, Burundi, Kenya, and so on. And this facility is priced at 12% per annum for shillings or 6% per annum for dollars. So even in the middle of the inflation and revision of the central bank rates by Bank of Uganda, the industry took an initiative that we support regional exports, especially manufacturers and all the SMEs who can support export, because we believe that will enable recovery.
According to data from the Bank of Uganda, the Democratic Republic of Congo is the nation's biggest export market when compared to other African community nations. In 2021, Uganda sold items to the DRC worth $666 million, followed by Kenya with $625 million and South Sudan with $562 million. During the same time period, exports to Tanzania and Burundi totaled to $141 million and $72.2 million respectively. The new facility is aimed at nations like the Democratic Republic of Congo and Burundi, where Uganda exports the majority of its goods as well. According to a report by the Uganda Manufacturers Association,
this facility has been one of the missing and important links for our exporters. This particular facility has been targeted for immediate neighbors. So DRC, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, and neighboring countries, where we have been conducting most of our exports.
The manufacturing sector is dominated by SMEs, which make up to 93.5%. These are the drivers of Ugandan economy, for they make up to 90% of businesses in Uganda. The CEO of Abbey Finance Limited, Mona Sebuliba, states that the company plans to offer collateral strengthening to sustain loans, particularly for those in the agribusiness, which will total 1 to 4 billion annually.
Collateral enhancement product, the portable guarantee, which goes between 1 billion to 4 billion shillings. So it can support loans anywhere between 1 billion to 4 billion. And to qualify, the SME must have between 20 to 100 staff or people that it employs. Its sales should be between 4 billion to 8 billion, and its asset base between 2.5 billion to 5 billion. So that largely speaks to the muscle that will be required for entities that want to participate in the regional export facility.
Manufacturers will have access to a 3 to 5 year export facility that will allow producers that have been stranded with goods to compete effectively with their neighbors. Exports, production and value addition will expand as a result, giving businesses access to East Africa's 300 million market, with a particular emphasis on the Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
A very interesting insight right there from Naomi Mutumba with that report regarding that particular story. And as the Uganda Bankers Association established the regional export facility, that's what $1 trillion, targeting regional market trading with an interest rate of 12%, or 6%, that's US dollars per year. That's in response to the manufacturers' persistent complaints about the exploitation of the free trade zones. The facility intends to increase exports, that's from Uganda, while also filling the funding shortfall for the industry. All right, and away from that, let's head to the sugar exports, as about 600,000 metric tons of brown sugar and 60,000 metric tons of industrial sugar were produced annually, that's in the country, by 2021. Approximately 9,000, that's 739 tons of sugar, worth 1.3 billion shillings, were exported. That's by Uganda, making up 56% of Kenya's total imports. That's of 17,950 tons of, that's in the month of August. Let's have the details of this report.
As facilities closed as a result of elections, maintenance and a lack of a mature cane, sugar production in Kenya decreased by 34%, resulting in higher pricing for the product on store shelves for customers. Uganda provided 56% of the world's meal white brown sugar in August 2022, while Thailand provided 80% of the world's white refined sugar. According to data from Uganda Export Promotion Board, since financial year 2020-2021, sugar exports have been rising significantly. It is also important to mention that Uganda made $125.62 million from January up to August 2022 in sugar exports. On the phone, Smart 24 TV spoke with the president of Uganda Sugar Manufacturers Association on what could have sparked the broad market.
Uganda has surplus sugar, so the surplus sugar we export it. There's nothing we have put in place. The surplus is supposed to be 200,000. Kenya has only taken 10,000. I don't know why you are saying.
Sugar exports to Kenya are rising. Incidentally, to some of us, it's not a surprise. They have seen the relationship between the president of Uganda and the president of newly elected president of Kenya since he was a deputy president in Kenya. It's not productive anymore until maybe some time. And a number of others, like 2 or 1 other factories, are down. So the only alternative they have is importing from Uganda, which is a good indicator of the relationship between the two countries. Secondly, we have been always having a surplus of sugar when it comes to what we are producing in this country. And Kenya being our neighbors and one of the key partners in the EAC, then it's little surprise that we are trying to fill that gap.
According to data from the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the nation produced 510,000 metric tons of sugar in 2020, but with 360,000 metric tons of consumption, there was a surplus of 150,000 metric tons. Donna Nahabwe, Business Today, Smart.
Rona Nahabwe with that report regarding that's the exports that Uganda puts out right there in the East African region. But it's quite very clear that Uganda is the leading exporter of sugar in the East African region. And there has been a gradual increase if you to compare 2020 and 2021 right there.
Enhancing agricultural production can be accomplished by using imports. According to reports, about 20,000 registered agrochemical dealers currently run their businesses and provide their services to the farming community, although they are restricted by the lack of access to capital. Therefore, development partners and A1 local Bukola Agrochemical Industries have signed a memorandum of understanding to facilitate and strengthen in the areas of financing, especially for distributors and dealers in the agrochemical sector.
We work with farmers in helping them to do the right practices in agronomy with the aim to increase productivity. So we thought, what better a partner than someone who's already engaging with the farmers. We will work together in participation of training, using the right methods. At the same time, on the bank side, talking about financial literacy.
We help that person at Nabutongwa Trading Center. By helping that one, you don't have to give money to Bukola as, say, maybe financing. No, Bukola has had issues right now, not because he doesn't have the product, but because when he gives out the product, people need capital to buy from him. So we came in to manage their value chain. How? That don't look for money, look for business. For us, we finance you, you pay Bukola, then the entire value chain moves around.
Information has it that this partnership is looking forward to get available and secured financing of up to 3 billion to an individual dealer or distributor of local Bukola agrochemical dealers through digital payment channels.
This economy is a net importer. We want to transform this economy into export. So what do you do if these guys are growing crops but they don't have the right pests and pesticides and the like? Then ideally there is no way they can make it to the export. They can never get export for their goods. So basically we are coming in to improve number one, which is critical, the quality of the goods that we produce. So when you look at all this, that means that we want to see one day Uganda being a net exporter. It is possible.
However, civil society organizations in Uganda have always been calling on government to immediately ban the use of agrochemicals that have been identified as harmful to human and animal life or banned in other countries. When asked about the safety of his agrochemicals, Dr. Peter Chabagu, director of Bukola Chemical Industries, responds that these agrochemicals must first undergo certification before being imported into the country.
Of course, before even we introduce a product onto the market, it has to go through testing, and also it's probably registered with the Ministry of Agriculture, and we have to have a certificate or to have this product come into this country. So if it's not safe, definitely it won't be with us. Of course, we have an issue of counterfeit, and it's something which we have been fighting for a long time. And probably I need to make you aware there are people who are actually masquerading behind our name.
According to a report by USAID 2017, counterfeit agro-input products have gone high in the Ugandan market, affecting as much as 30 to 50% of the market. This trend will continue unless there is a united and concentrated effort to educate consumers, unite stakeholders to work together and develop or enforce rules and regulations.
That's regarding enhancing agriculture productivity. As data from the World Agriculture Organization indicates that 80% of Uganda's labor force is employed that's in agriculture, yet they lack the financial resources to buy the agrochemicals to increase agriculture production. Financial institutions in collaboration with agrochemical dealers is a crucial collaboration in that way. Remember, one of the ways you can compete effectively from the world market, within the world market, is to ensure that you provide the best quality. Of course, besides the quality, the quantity is also very important. And of course, with the lack of the agrochemicals, which we can call the pesticides, which can be used to spread the crops to ensure that that quality comes out, is very essential, which is not quite so much emphasized within the country. But however, there has been proposed, of course, complaints from the people and the public and the authorities responsible for the quality of the goods that Ugandans consume, that some of these chemicals are very, very harmful to the human health. And of course, still, the responsible authorities still say they should, first of all, check the quality of the chemicals before they are imported to be used by the farmers within Uganda. At the end of the day, it's about health. It's very important, despite the fact that there is a need to increase output, but also the aspect of the health should be really taken quite very seriously. It's 20 minutes past the hour of 7 a.m. still on the SMB News Recap. We are still driving the business, checking out the stories that are making headlines into the world of business. And now we wind it up. That's with the future of agribusiness still in agriculture. As Parliament moves to secure food security through genetically modified organisms law, of course, the future of agriculture sector and GMO best, that's agribusiness, is essential as a trend towards that's protection of conventional food kinds being established. Let's have the details.
Unlike Kenya, that reversed her position on GMOs late last week, a section of members of parliament, led by Honorable James Nsababuturo, set tone for calls to enforce food security through a bill that prohibits genetically modified organisms, as current high commodity prices, food inclusive, have demonstrated the need for a sustainable food basket.
Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs in short, have devastating consequences that very few people know about. Why? The lobby, the multinationals that are behind this, have invested heavily in disinformation. And we have scientists, our own scientists, who have bought the lie that GMOs are the savior of our continent, our people.
Fear of reliance on GMOs has been vested in the growing reproduction purchase model that has created a market for agro-businesses.
You cannot replant a GMO seed. So which means every season you've got to buy the seeds afresh. And so if you are buying the seeds afresh, which means the person holding the patency for that seed is the one who is going to benefit. In our traditional seeds, the seeds are able to self-propagate themselves.
Uganda's food production chain transcends GMO seeds to include fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides that boost productivity and whose reliance has been received with mixed reactions due to production challenges.
It's contaminated. You are using inorganic fertilizers. You are introducing new varieties of more deadly weeds as you are trying to use herbicides to make your crops grow. And so you find that these are actually a danger to our society. We still don't have better regulation mechanisms in place. And so we should actually be the last to be introducing GMO foods.
As food security metrics consider factors such as availability, cost, and utilization, among others, all chained to the production process, the position of agro-based businesses is bound to take a new dimension.
The moment people who are in business, I question them. I'm not warning them, but I'm questioning them. The GMOs are good to those who need them. But to us who are doing massive campaign on organic, we are not thrived with our business. Even it will not even disturb us, because the GMO products, even on the market, the European market and so on, it is classified as a GMO. You have to label.
There is still a growing campaign to wholly adapt an organic farming model to retain conventional food crop varieties and eventually mitigate potential future food insecurity.
Agronomic practices, which is good, use organic fertilizers, exploit every opportunity you have to see that you don't first rush to the last. It's like when you go to genetically modified, it's like you have rushed every opportunity you have, every chances you have, and you have failed, then you have lasted to, you have gone to the last chance which you have, which is not good.
As efforts to break a growing food market monopoly grow, Uganda's position shall be largely determined by the shape of legislations and evolution of agro-businesses to restore its former dignity as East Africa's food hub.
And that's regarding the GMOs, and of course that's something that is going on in the parliament. Quite a very big debate regarding the introduction of the GMOs. But what's your opinion as a viewer right there? Do you really think the genetically modified organisms is the way to go, despite the challenges we see with them? And of course, I'll say that the disadvantages seem to outweigh the advantages of the genetically modified organisms. With the simple test, simply that, imagine you grow the seeds. For example, you plant the maize, but when it grows, you can plant back those seeds to regrow again and over time. So that means you have to be buying from the supplier, and that's going to be quite very expensive. And we see that like they could go for about $150 for you to plant an acre. So you can see that's quite an expense to the farmer regarding that aspect. And that's it for the SMB News Recap. It's 26 minutes past the hour of 7 a.m. Let's get into a short commercial break. We return with the press review accompanied with the international business news, and we shall be winding up the hour with the business tips and quotes. Good morning.